Hey, hey, everyone. It is time for Old Roommates. Today on the show, we revisit Psycho. So get ready to hop into that hot shower and listen in.
Hey, everybody. It's Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Brian.
And this is Christina.
And we are revisiting Psycho. Now, this is interesting because this is 1960.
Yes.
We don't usually branch too far beyond the 70s. So this, besides, say, like, our Christmas specials, right? And, like, Bewitched. We did Bewitched.
Oh, yeah. That's right, yeah.
So, but Psycho, we, I don't know, it just came up in conversation, like, we really should do a revisit of that, and here we are. And so we rewatched Psycho. I have not seen this film in a very long time. I think since high school,
oh my God.
think.
Same. I don't even remember the first time.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, and what's funny is on Peacock, it's super weird. So it's like, when you look at the list, it says Psycho, Psycho 2, Psycho 3. But Psycho Part 1 is the one from like 1998 or whatever with
weird.
Vince Vaughn. But then the other two, obviously, the original Psycho 2 and Psycho 3. So
you did the Vince Vaughn one?
No. But it's supposed to be shot by shot. But the thing is, so I watched this. So then, Christina, tell me about. Well, I know you said you don't remember really the first time you saw it, but do you remember like your feeling the first time you saw it?
I remember it being very, very creepy in general because it wasn't your typical thrasher.
Slasher.
What did I say? Thrasher? Must be the ginger chews. The typical slasher film. There was so much more dialogue and more scenes.
Did you like it way back then?
I remember being surprised about it, but I did like it. Yeah. I liked it. It was just a surprise. But I liked it. Yeah. I thought it was good. I thought the acting was good. And I don't remember. I remember being surprised at the ending because I don't know if I knew the ending. I don't think I knew the whole reveal.
Yeah.
Up until I don't know. Somehow I never knew the reveal.
So you mean to say that when the first time you saw this, you believed that, say, the shower scene, you believed that was his mother killing this woman? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes. Spoiler alert, everyone.
Oh my God! All I said was you believed. Yeah. It's interesting.
What about you, Brian?
So I think it's hard to avoid the history of Psycho or the twist, if you will, of Psycho. And so the first time I saw it, I was in high school, and I remember being like, oh, I never would have thought that was a real woman stabbing her in the shower. However, I definitely remember thinking that it was a real woman at the top of the staircase when he stabs the detective. So, but I absolutely appreciated the black and white. I appreciated the moodiness, the suspense. But I will tell you a little bit of a spoiler. I just can't believe how much I forgot about this movie. A lot of for example, I would have said, oh, I think she was murdered on her third night in the hotel, or the motel. She's murdered within hours of that blew my
That's
mind.
One thing that I was completely surprised about the first time I saw it.
Yeah. For some reason, my memory is like, oh no, she'd been there for a little bit, but no. And of course, there's the big shock that I was absolutely surprised back then. I think the big surprise for me was like, oh, you really think this movie's about her?
Yes.
And I didn't, and the number of clips I had seen of Psycho before I watched the whole thing, I didn't, that didn't cross my mind that she was this is really the story of her until she gets murdered.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's really
pretty early on.
Yeah,
I mean, it seems early on.
It's so bizarre. It's crazy. She was, a bit of trivia, Janet Leigh was nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah. But let's jump in to now. When did you rewatch this, Christina?
A couple of weeks ago.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago. So it's been able to settle a bit.
Yeah.
And So rewatching this, again, it's so funny with these horror movies. I'm so afraid to watch them, like, alone at night. So I had to pick, like, a morning, a lovely Saturday morning, sitting in my well-lit lighthouse. Yeah. So that's what I did. And I will tell you, I completely forgot about the whole backstory, about why she was even at the hotel.
Yes.
I forgot a lot about this movie.
Christina, I already said it. Me too. I forgot so much. Yeah.
I forgot about the money. I forgot about... if you would have asked me a few weeks ago where this, the first scene, it would have been her driving in the car in, like, a rainstorm and finding this crazy hotel. Mm-hmm. Like, that is what I would have thought the first scene was. But no, she has a boyfriend. She is having sort of not really an affair, because they're both single. But it seems a little bit...
Well, he's going through a divorce, or he had a divorce.
He had a divorce, so he has no money. So, which is why he can't be with her.
Yeah.
So, and then she ends up stealing $40,000.
Blows my mind.
From her employer. I'm like, what? It was such a strange thing to forget.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, look at all of these characters who I never knew existed.
Well, I remember she had done something a little like devious, and I remember she wasn't she wasn't a total angel. So, but I forgot. It's like, oh, bring this money to the bank, and she just fucking doesn't do it,
and she just leaves.
And I watched this with Carl, and I'm like, can we pause this for a moment? Because I looked up. I know this. What does this say about me, though? Because I'm like, is that really enough money to, like, change your whole... to be on the run for? Like, is that
Back then, probably, yes.
So I looked it up. It translates to $380,000.
All right, yeah. You can change your life with that.
But it's not just about changing your life. It's about the risk of getting caught. Mm-hmm. And is that worth getting... Is that that amount of money worth getting caught over? I mean, by the way...
plan it very well.
How far of a drive away? Would she drive an hour away? 2 hours away?
Yeah, I forget.
Let's say 3 hours away.
Yeah.
She ran all the way 3 hours away with $300,000, almost $400,000. But it's like, girl, it's like, you're not going to be that hard to find.
And they kind of knew immediately who to ask. Right? Didn't they know immediately? It wasn't like they had to really delve deep to who to contact.
No.
The sister knew immediately. She showed up at his apartment.
1,000%. And they also were only holding off on calling the cops because they didn't want to, like, hurt her. They liked her. They just thought it was some sort of bizarre circumstance, misunderstanding, or is she in trouble, or what happened?
They just want the money back. They're not going to tell on her.
They don't want to hurt her. And so it's just this funny, like, I completely forgot about this, the guy from wherever it was, maybe I'll say Texas, when he's like, hey, darling. I forgot how funny that secretary was when she's like, he was flirting with you.
Yes.
I guess he must have noticed my wedding ring.
Yeah.
I
love what he said. She said, I think the other secretary said, I declare, when they was talking about $40,000. She goes, I declare. And he says, I don't. That's why I get to keep it. So wise. Like, such a smart line.
Yes, really good. I will also say, one thing that jumped out at me right away, she says to her boyfriend, Sam is his name.
I think so, yes.
Checkouts at 3. I'm like, really? That's a sign of the times.
Checkout.
I went somewhere in January. Checkout was at 10 a.m.
Yeah. Now it's 10.
Oh my God. I understand the COVID cleaning and all that. But checkouts at 3 p.m.? 3 p.m. That's amazing. What time would check-in be?
Right?
Yeah.
Seriously.
What? I really, when is check-in? They had to clean the room. So then, right off the bat, the music, and this is something that will come up later on, the music isn't super dissimilar from Jaws. Did you feel that?
I noticed that for sure, absolutely. And I remember. I mean, it's pretty iconic. It's pretty. Yeah.
I mean,
that's pretty iconic.
Very similar.
Yes.
To me. The boss's office is air-conditioned, but the secretary area is not. Did that upset you? It didn't
surprise me.
It kind of pissed me off.
It didn't really surprise me.
I mean, like, when he ever said, come into my office, it's air-conditioned. I'm like, oh my God, that's so rude. I don't know. I found that to be very rude.
Well, you have to remember, women were very much second-class citizens back then. Like, it's not nice. I would not like it, but it didn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I love that she's driving away out of town, and her boss walks in front of the car. Is that not your worst nightmare of ever? Like, just calling in sick? Like, if I call in sick, I mean, usually I am sick, but if there was ever a time, even when I'm sick, right, I'll have to, like, maybe go to the store to pick up cough medicine
an orange juice,
or pick up Emily from school, because, you know, who cares if I'm sick? I still have to do that.
Be a mom, right.
Still have to be a mom. Yeah. I am so afraid I'm going to see someone I know. Like, I still have that fear that they're going to catch me out of the house. That is, when she ever saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's like worse than having an affair.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like, for me, if I'm ever out and I'm sick, it's like, I can't hide my sick very well. I just, like, look like shit. Yeah. So it's like, if someone's going to see me in public being sick, it's like, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I get it.
Are you feeling okay
He's
today?
Awful.
Oh.
I told you, I'm a little hungover.
Just kidding.
Okay. There's so much to love about this movie, but there's so much to say. So when she goes, so now she's being followed by a police officer.
Yes.
She has fallen asleep in her car, and he just wants to make sure she's okay. So naturally she freaks out because she thinks he's on to her. But then he does follow her. Right. And so she's like, I know what I'll do. I'll trade my car in for a different car. The cop is watching her every move. He's
watching every move.
He's watching her across the street get a new car. Why are you going through this transaction? He can see the new car.
He has eyes. He sees what's happening. I don't know what she's doing that for. Like, why is she changing?
Right
aside from making herself look more guilty of doing something wrong.
Could she be more suspicious? And she's like looking like all around. She's looking down. She like uses the bathroom. You know what I thought? You know what I thought was going to happen though, Christina?
What?
I honestly had like a vision of One Crazy Summer.
One Crazy Summer.
I thought she was going to put the money. I was like, wait, does she put the money in the paper towel dispenser for some reason? I couldn't remember.
That's so funny. But yeah, the whole thing, that whole interaction with the police officer was so crazy.
Yeah.
And he asks, like, what did she say? Oh, am I acting like something's wrong? And I said, yes.
Yeah, you are.
You are. You're acting like a guilty person.
Yeah.
He's just checking in to see if you're okay.
Make sure you're not dead on the side of the road.
And she's like, kind of, like, back-talking with him and stuff. Like, lady, just answer the questions and be on your way.
So I read a little bit of trivia that the sunglasses the cop's wearing is very, very reflective. And it is a motif throughout the movie with that character, Marion Crane, where it's pretty consistent where she is confronted by her reflection.
Interesting.
Yeah, like the rear... No, it's me. Last week it was you dropping stuff. No, it's me. She... the rearview mirror of her car, the mirror at the hotel room, the hotel room that she's at with her boyfriend.
Yes.
There's something with like the window. She sees her reflection in a window, but it's basically like showing her what a devious person she's being.
Interesting. I love
consistently. That. Yeah.
That's really good. I will say I loved the technique of having the voiceover while she's driving of all of the events that are happening while she's driving. So it's all of, the boss talking, Sam talking, all these different conversations. Yeah. I'm like, what a great way to move the story
along. 100%.
It's fantastic. Yeah. Why don't more movies do that?
That is a note I have that I didn't find a dead piece of this movie. Do you know what I mean? Like where it's like, oh, they could have sped that up, or this is boring.
No, it was absolutely really well at a great clip.
Done. Yeah. I did laugh out loud a couple times. So I wonder, we hear a lot about that fast-talking car salesman.
Yes.
I wonder if this was the birth of the genesis of the fast... That guy, it's like... she's basically saying she's in a hurry.
Yes.
And he's like, well, one thing people should never be in when they're looking for a car is a hurry. Take a look around. Want a coffee? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, he talks so effing fast. And, like, her anxiety is already sky high. And then he comes along, he's like, he couldn't be talking faster if he tried. And, like, but everything is like, want a coffee? Take a look around. Blah, blah, blah. You shouldn't be in a hurry. Look here, little woman. Like, I mean, oh, my God. It was amazing. I wondered if he was like an auctioneer.
That's hilarious.
Reader guy, because that's how fast he was talking.
Well, and how happy were you, because I know you caught it too, how happy were you when she started to drive away and then he stopped her and said, wait, your bags? Did you notice that too? Because she started driving away and I'm like, oh, they messed up. She didn't take her bags. And all of a sudden he stopped. I was like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah, anything to drag out that tension, because she is so paranoid about being stopped and questioned about anything. So it would have been funny if she just like tore off and like left her luggage behind. Okay, my next note is Anthony Perkins is super cute.
He really is.
Oh my God, super cute.
He was such a nice guy.
And that is a middle-aged lens.
Yes.
That is probably my biggest middle-aged lens thing. Well, that and some of the money stuff. But like, I was like, wow, he's really a cute guy. Like, I would totally have sat in his parlor with him. With
so
his
nice.
stuffed animals.
Like soft-spoken. He had a nice little sense of humor.
That's what I wrote. They moved the highway. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And he, and maybe that's partly true, but then he said, and we even have stationery that says Bates Motel on it to make all your friends envious, making jokes. Like, just super
personable.
Nice. Yep, I liked him.
I did too. I really liked him
Bates.
too. I absolutely would have had a piece of bread, whatever.
A sandwich.
A sandwich.
Yeah.
In maybe not. Well, I guess in his parlor is probably fine. I don't know. I guess I would have.
I mean, if it's current day and you have your cell phone on you, I would have. Yeah.
Yeah. But even more so, like, I would probably, I don't know.
Yeah.
Would I invite him? No, I wouldn't invite him into my room.
Yeah.
Norman, he was very nice.
Yeah, Norman Bates, I would almost, I stopped, I held back at the word hot, but I found him very cute.
He was very cute. He kind of reminded me of Robert Hayes from Airplane.
I can see that, Christina.
Yeah, he sort of reminded me of
who he reminded me of. I don't know. But he seemed very, like, accessible. He seemed very, like, normal. Like, I mean, truly.
Normal, exactly. A normal, that's what I said. Norman seems like I just realized Norman. Normal.
But psycho.
Literally, just realized that. Yeah. I said Norman seems like a normal, nice guy.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. So then we get to, so they have that conversation. Oh, no.
Oh, until he says, are you going to say the same line?
Good.
A boy's best friend is his mother.
Oh,
okay,
God.
that's when I would have been like, gotta go.
Yep. Well,
that was the first clue.
He leaves her, right, into her room. He opens the windows. She hears this altercation with his mother. Mm-hmm. I am really sorry. I laughed out loud when, and I think this is funny. Like, he's like, oh, mother, I'm just gonna have, does he say dinner? I'm gonna have dinner with her? But then he says, she goes,
so.
And what's next after dinner? Music? And then she goes, let me finish. She goes, music? Whispers? Oh my God, I couldn't. I busted out laughing.
That was so good.
I thought that was so damn funny. But good. This is a little bit of a thing for me. He does tell his mother to shut up. He goes, shut up. Just shut up. And I was like, oh. So, not much of a mama's boy, really. Mama's boys do not tell their mothers to shut up.
True.
But then, you know, later on you realize it's the conflict he has and all that stuff. But even to a point of Marion Crane's point of view, he told his mother to shut up. Like, that's not a super noble person. I mean, granted, she was calling her a whore, but, like,
he was coming to her defense.
Yeah, he was defending her. Yeah.
It's a little bit nice that way.
Things taken
out. It was funny that the house seemed really far away.
And that they could hear clear as day.
Yeah, I think
and that silhouette couldn't have been clearer each time. Yeah. That was something.
It was a little bit interesting.
Also because he props it up that way ultimately. So, but then he's like, no one, my mother can't can't come to the window. Remember, they can't get up. Remember, they can't do this. You can't do that. But in the very beginning, you see the mother walk by the window. You walk by the window.
Yes.
So it's. I feel like he could have been a little, or he
but
wasn't
doing that for anybody's benefit. That's the thing. Like, he's not doing this to manipulate anybody. This is just his life.
Yeah, and he's not even aware he's doing it.
He's not aware of it, exactly. So he's just walking across his room, or her room, whoever's.
And all is well until Marion Crane suggests that maybe he should put his mom in an assisted living or in a home.
Yeah.
Norman comes back with, "You mean a madhouse?" Mm-hmm. And things get a little dicey from there. Yeah,
I did have a note before that. It just said, getting to know him. And you can kind of see in her face, she's slowly, learning that he may not be right.
Yeah.
And I liked the fact that they did that instead of just putting it right out there. Mm-hmm. Like today. Immediately someone's off. Right? In a movie, for sure. Well, in real life, sometimes. Yeah, and then he says, a son is a poor substitute for a lover.
Oof.
That's a tough line to say to someone you just met.
Right. Well, it's if you think about, say, Misery, right? Mm-hmm. Annie Wilkes seems like she's super helpful. A little out there, but super helpful until he just says something that she disagrees with. Yeah. And it's similar to this.
It is, yes.
He's sort of helping her until she says something.
Another wonderful villain, Annie Wilkes. But, which reminds me.
Yes.
Patreon this week.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/oldroommates. Yeah. Some of the bonus content that we have up there this week is...
It's a bonus episode where we talk about some of our favorite villains.
Yes.
And favorite could mean different things. It could mean scariest. It could mean funniest. It could mean so many things.
It could.
So anyway,
join us for our bonus. Throw that out there since we started talking about Annie.
Yeah, Annie.
Annie from
Norman.
Misery.
Yeah.
So, check out patreon.com/oldroommates.
So
anyway, so she starts talking about the institution. Right. The tone changes immediately.
Yeah.
And then he says, it's not like she's a maniac. She just gets a little mad sometimes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So she goes back to her room. All is well and good. Until he takes a picture down and is able to peep into her room. Oh!
Yeah.
So creepy.
Yeah. Is that before or after she takes a pen and paper to subtract $700 from... I'm like, Marion girl, come on.
Why did you even need to write it down?
You could have done this in your head.
Yeah, I
like,
guess
do you want a paper trail? But in her defense, it worked. That's the only thing that really helped the case. Because they found the piece of paper.
But it doesn't make any sense. No, they already knew she was in that room. They already knew she was there. They didn't need that piece of paper to prove that she was there. They were searching that room for some other clue, for money or something.
Yeah.
I don't know why they were even searching that room. They knew she was there. Even if they found her suitcase, it's not breaking any case wide open. We already knew she was there. So that part,
yeah. Yeah, I did laugh. I was like, and I said to Carl, I was like, wait, she needs pen and paper to subtract $700 from $40,000? Oh my God. I
just questioned why she even needed to do that in the first place. Like, is she spending more money out of that? Like,
it was the only deduction, right? Right. Like, she didn't even pay for the hotel yet. Was it $10 a night or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah. Oh God. Well,
so crazy.
Then we get to the big iconic moment. I believe they used, and this is true, I believe they used Hershey's chocolate syrup for the blood.
I've heard about that. Hershey's?
Or just chocolate syrup, I guess. Sorry.
Hershey's, if you're listening.
Yeah, if Hershey's, if you respond to this episode, go for it. So what, so being older now and having not seen this movie since high school, Holy Mary Mother, I really thought I remembered the doorknob turning, the door slowly opening, footsteps. Oh my God, none of it. It's just
spraying. I can't say that.
He just walks her to
spraying everywhere. Right? Did you remember that?
I thought I remembered seeing the knife go into flesh.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
But
all these things.
It's not. And it's I mean, the blood sort of falls in clumps in the tub. But the biggest thing for me, though, the biggest mismemory is that, I mean, I really thought I saw the doorknob turning and the door opening and all that business. Nope. It's just like, you see the door opening, but you don't hear it squeak.
Nope.
Like, I thought there was so much more leading up to that, and there's not.
Nothing.
It is so brutal and like, it's just like, boom, it just happens. And you're like, what the hell? And even though I've seen the scene plenty of times, I could not get over how fast it all happens.
It happens so fast.
Yeah.
It's so clean.
Yeah.
There's hardly any blood at all.
That's true.
Or syrup.
There's more blood. There's more blood during the cleanup. And I think that's the right choice. Mm-hmm. You don't need to see it quite so graphically.
I think I've seen so many sort of reenactments of it. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily the same scene, but reenactments of it from different movies or what have you.
Yeah.
That I imagined it to be a lot messier.
Like a true bloodbath.
Like a bloodbath.
Yeah.
There really wasn't much at all.
No.
I mean, really not much at all. Mm-hmm. And I thought her acting was pretty good in it, by the way.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
I think I would react the same way.
Yeah.
And what's funny about that, when she opens up the shower curtain and you see the mother, this time watching it, I'm like, oh, you can tell that's a guy.
Yeah. Yes.
So I wonder, because I didn't know about it beforehand, if I just didn't even question it. You know what I mean? Like, if you know about it ahead of time, you might see it differently.
Yeah.
But I didn't even question it the first time I saw it.
I mean, I wish... I mean, I'm not... This is like arguably one of the scariest movies, best films ever made, all that. But I do... I kind of... I don't know. I wish maybe one more scene where he walks by the silhouette walks by the window, just so, or you kind of see a little bit more clearly the silhouette when he's walking up to the house of the mom sitting in the chair, like just to sort of establish like these are two different people, but that's my only thing because I'm telling you, like it just looks like it's too. It's too lanky. It's too much like Norman.
Now it is, yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Now, yeah. But I thought that was great. And I'll tell you, for as scary as that is, I think the cleanup scene is as sick and morbid. Oh. That goes on for a long time. And
that's a long scene.
I think it helps, and I wasn't bored, because I think it helps set up that he consistently looks in shock. And I think it's really effective. Because it's trying to, meaning like no one's watching him do this. Besides the viewer, and so it's like you kind of get the sense that like he's really shocked that this happened.
Yes,
and I think it's effective.
But it does seem like it has happened again.
Yeah, before. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like he knows what to do.
Yeah.
He has a little bit of experience with this, so you definitely get that feeling like, okay, he grabs the shower curtain right away, right?
Lays it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So that to me. It was really creepy and effective and interesting. Like, it was really interesting watching him clean all that stuff up. And although there wasn't much there. And what I wrote down here, which I thought was interesting, was a couple of weeks ago when we talked about The Fisher King and how you were saying how all of that violence was very gratuitous.
Yeah.
I wrote down in this, it's the opposite. The opposite of gratuitous in this movie. Because there's so little of the blood and the gore.
Yeah.
But it's still so effective.
Yeah.
It's still really creepy.
Yeah.
And you don't need that splatter of the blood or brains on your face for it to be... You still remember this.
Yeah.
You're still just as shocked.
There's also something really like kind of colder about it this way too, because it happens so fast. She's slashed a number of times, but she's not stabbed to death. She's stabbed repeatedly, and she dies. Like the mother figure walks away, and she's like slowly dying in the tub, and then falls over the side of the tub. Oh my God! So I think so it just feels all the more brutal, and I appreciate that it's not bloody.
Yes.
Because it's enough. It's terrifying enough. Like, you're so vulnerable, in a shower anyway. That's most vulnerable
right?
place.
Naked
I know.
and wet.
In a slippery tub. with no non-skid mat.
No guardrails to be seen.
In a motel on the side of the road. I mean, it's very vulnerable. And yeah, I'm going to say, and it kind of, again, brought me a little bit back to Jaws, where it's like, and it just happens. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it's very similar with the staircase scene, I have to be honest. It's just like, you see the door crack open and the staircase. It's all that stuff.
Then it all happens immediately.
Like, it's like, oh shit. It just happens.
Yeah, and there's like no suspense leading up to it. Like, you expect to have suspense leading up to it, and I think that's what's so shocking.
The shower scene, I agree with. The staircase, there's a lot of suspense because he's walking.
Well, there's suspense, yes, but after you see the door open, there's not much time.
No, there's not much time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you see that, and you expect it to linger more. You expect to have more of a view of whoever's coming out of that door. Mm-hmm. But nope.
I'm going to be honest, I actually stopped taking notes for a long time after that. I did write down the staircase. I just wrote, like I just said, it's like very much like Jaws. It comes out of nowhere. It's very blunt, very like hard. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and then not only that, once he falls backwards down the stairs, I'm so torn. When I was a kid, when I was in high school, I thought that was the coolest fucking shot where like he's falling, it's a green screen down the steps. I thought it was a really cool way of doing that. I'm assuming it's
I would assume it's something like that.
And then, but it doesn't even end there. Then the mother runs down the stairs and keeps stabbing him. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, it's heinous.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the visual of him falling down the stairs. I thought it was a little bit funny.
When I was in high school, I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah. Now I'm like, I don't know. Love and hate it. Yeah.
I do go back to the hotel. This is where I'm like, killing the main character 1 hour in.
Yeah.
Is crazy.
Well, and to that point, when he sinks the car, like the money's in there.
Everything's
and it's like,
done, yeah.
It's like, oh shit.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked. Like, and that's what I like, these little details that you think are going to go somewhere when he doesn't see the newspaper right away. Mm-hmm. He leaves and everything, and then he sees it after the fact. Because you think he's going to leave it, and all of a sudden and then he grabs it. Yeah. And then you think he's going to find the money or something. And he doesn't. He just throws it in the car. To be honest, and it goes under the water.
It reminds me, and not then when I was watching it, but in this conversation reminds me of Misery. Like, because you're like, oh, someone's going to help him because they're going to see that. Or he kept trying to do things.
It's so funny. This is very close to Misery.
Yeah.
And I never realized it, even watching it.
Yeah.
But even as, with the old man coming and falling down the stairs and a lot of that stuff. It's interesting. More suspense, I think, in Misery.
For sure. I mean, there's only so many characters too.
Correct.
And someone does go to look for him, and there's like the woman that is like, hey, can you, and she's trying to, help find him. But it's like that thing where it's like, oh, there's a little bit of hope because they're going to see that, and then like she sees it before anyone else does, and she scurries it away. I think through a middle-aged lens, I think what hit me more was that newspaper with the money in it. Because I was like, oh, is that how I couldn't remember. Is that how they found, is that how they how they were able to accuse Norman? But then it was like, oh, fuck, he just got it and threw it away. And like, he doesn't even know the money's in there. That's how I felt,
too. I was thinking the same exact way.
I would even argue he wouldn't even have cared about the money. Because he's just not in that zone.
No.
And so, like, when you see the car, and then the car, it stalls a little bit on the water.
Yes.
And you're like, ooh, and like, I didn't remember this part. And then it sinks, and you're like, oh, it's hopeless.
I did remember that part. I did remember that part with it stopping, and you think for a minute, again, a little glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
And then it starts going down. I'm like, oh, that's right, now it's gone.
Yeah.
Now it's done. But yeah, I thought it was really, really interesting with the newspaper. Just not even being a factor. The money means nothing.
Yeah.
Although it did make more of a motive.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah, for
In fact,
Norman later.
When you watch that scene where Sam confronts Norman and is like, how much would it take to unload this place? About $40,000? And it's so great because Norman has no clue what he's talking about. And then so it works on a number of levels because Norman has split personality. And so none of this is making sense, these accusations. But then he thinks it's his mom, so he has to protect her. But then the $40,000 thing, then he like really has no clue what's going on. I think it's really, really, really well done.
Super smart.
Another smart tactic, this meant more to me now than I did when I was a kid, but when Lila, right, is that her name, the sister?
I didn't write her sister.
And Sam go to the sheriff's house. I think it's the sheriff. And they're like, and they find out, it's like, well, no, Norman, his mother died. She's dead and buried. And they're like, well, no, but so-and-so said they saw her in the window and that she shared something and da-da, But then the sheriff says, well, then, if that's true, who's buried in that grave? And so it throws you off. Because you're like, oh, shit, the mother's alive, but then who's in that? And that it means much more to me now to really throw the viewer off.
Yeah, it was great. It was really, really great. Norman Bates' mother has been dead and buried in Green Lawn Cemetery for the past 10 years. There was no music being played during any of that.
Right.
Which I thought was an interesting choice, too. Like, today, you would hear... exactly. Some sort of emphasis on that. But I really liked... was it a PI? No, wait. I'm skipping around a little bit.
Oh, wait.
It says, I don't know... Oh, I don't know... Oh, when they get to the house. She goes, I don't know where to start, except at the beginning.
Who said that?
It was the sister said that to the people. But I liked the conversation that they had, and I liked that they were skeptical about the PI.
Yeah.
Like, they were very skeptical about that and how, maybe he decided just to leave and found the money. And, like, it's just, like, a lot of different little levels there.
Can I jump a little bit?
Yeah, let me see. Hold on. Let me go back a little bit because I think there's some stuff that we were talking about.
You look. I'm going to eat a ginger chew.
Oh, yeah. You go right ahead. So, one thing I wrote. Did you notice they always get out of the passenger side?
Yes, I said the same thing to Carl.
Isn't that weird?
Like, what's that about?
I mean, I got it when she was...
Yeah, when it was raining.
And she wanted to get closer or whatever, but then everybody else started getting out of the passenger side. I
thought that was very strange.
So, and I did write the investigation with Norman. I did it again. So strange. Norman, there was still no music, but it was still very, very effective, and because he did not know much about it. But I wrote, if he only fessed up early that she was there... Because here's the thing. He's asking all these questions about her, and she's saying, he's like, no, I don't remember. Like, how stupid can you be? You have one guest a month, and you don't remember her? And he wrote her name in the guest book, so if he was...
No, she wrote her name.
Whatever. Yeah. The name was in the guest book, so if he was going to lie about it, why wouldn't he at least get rid of the page? Mm-hmm. And what's wrong with saying she was here and left first thing in the morning?
Right.
I couldn't understand why he was lying about seeing her and being like, oh, I don't remember. And then all of a sudden he sees the name. Oh, that's right. Like, what was it? Yesterday? Like, it wasn't that long.
No,
it was a few days maybe. Yeah. But I thought that was really odd.
The only thing I can think of is... Like, maybe he was afraid they found the car. And it would be too incriminating or whatever. I don't know. But because maybe the detective said something that made him think, oh, no, it's not. He didn't find the car. I don't know. But I think that was weird. What was crazy to me is when the private detective's like, well, maybe she signed in with a different name. Oh, yeah, look at this. Oh, yeah. And then he's like, he takes out her handwriting. He's like, oh, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. It's a perfect match.
Yeah, totally her. Totally her.
Match. I did find it was interesting that there was so much unresolved because they never, like, my question's here. Where's the cop that was following her?
Right.
Like, what happened with him? Yeah. Where's the used car salesman? Like, there was never any, this PI was terrible. Like, he never backtracked any of this stuff. And it just seemed like two characters that were never talked about or seen ever again. The cop
was following
literally
her.
Following her.
And she did some very suspicious things. And anyway, she just stopped following her.
And did he stop when she got a new car and said, forget it, she has a new car, it should be all set now?
That must have been why she was so tired. She was contemplating the sale of her car.
Exactly. So, very strange that they just dropped the ball on those two.
Mm-hmm.
The murder, again, there was no blood, again, with the murder. I said it's the cleanest murders ever.
For sure. And I appreciated that.
Yes.
It is terrifying, and I think you don't need a lot of blood.
This is the note I had. Falling down the stairs, I didn't like that whole thing. But he doesn't scream until after he falls down the stairs. He falls down the stairs, and then he screams.
Oh,
if you're falling down the stairs, I'm pretty sure you're going to be screaming as you're falling down.
I don't know.
Let's try it.
If
I'm going, like I'm falling down a flight of stairs, I'm not going to be silent, and then when I hit the ground, I start screaming?
2 winters ago, I slipped and fell and seriously fell flat on my ass and slid all the way down the hill of the front of my house.
Okay.
It hurt.
It sounds fun.
It was on the snow, but it still fucking hurt.
So you went sledding, basically.
On my ass.
Yes.
But I didn't go, like, I don't know.
I think it's a little different than being pushed backwards down a flight of stairs.
He was stabbed backwards down the stairs.
Even worse.
I guess he would have said, ow. That's true.
Yeah, he would have screamed.
He would have said,
there's
ouch.
some sort of something.
Would he said, ouch,
And if
Christina?
he's not going to, why would... Yeah, he would have been, ouch.
Ouch.
Ow.
And then blood on his head. He was stabbed in the head.
But then why would he not scream falling down the stairs and then scream when he reached the bottom?
Why don't you ask...
Pick a side.
Why don't you ask him?
I can't. He's dead.
I don't know if I scream falling down the stairs. I would
absolutely 100% scream falling down the stairs.
I think he'd be like, I don't know. I just don't know.
I'm going to push it down the stairs later and see.
Do it. It'll be fun. Let's be on Patreon.
We'll get a video of it.
Okay, so truly, do you have anything else before we get to the end? The rest of my notes are all about the ending.
All right, so the next thing, the conversation between Norman and his mother, and he carries her downstairs. That was a little crazy. I thought it was a good way to throw us all off.
Yes.
Yes. I said the sister is smart. And this is where it says, if you had a useless business like this hotel, what would you need to get out? $40,000.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Sam,
so it wasn't,
Sam
okay,
says that.
So Sam says it. That's right. That's
to
right.
Norman, yeah.
So, and then I already said a lot of these things. I just haven't read my notes.
Okay.
What are they looking for? They already know she was there. So, somehow I don't know if they're looking for a dead body or blood or what.
Well, I think the reason, they found the scrap of paper.
Yeah.
I think that was like the motive. I think that Sam took that as the motive.
Yeah, so so they found this one little tiny scrap of paper, and she's like, I think this says $40,000 or whatever it was.
Yeah, and that's all Sam needed to know. To be like...
And then they look up and they see there's no shower curtain.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a better clue. But they didn't even, they just said, I think they mentioned it.
Sam said, there's no shower curtain.
But then they didn't pull it all together at all.
Well, I mean, that's quite the jump. Christina, if you were missing and I went into the last hotel room you were in and I was like, there's no shower curtain, she must have been murdered and wrapped up in a shower curtain.
No, but I think it would have been weird to have somebody be in a hotel room without a shower curtain. Like, I would have thought, where is the shower curtain? Why would she stay in this room and not be able to take a shower? Yeah. Like, if this room doesn't have a shower curtain, then put her in room number 2.
Norman would have said, well, Mother and I always make sure everyone has a clean shower curtain. It's just we're old-fashioned that way.
So why aren't the linens being cleaned?
That's enough, Christina. Marion Crane is dead.
Brian.
She's dead.
I'm seeing sides to you.
So, the basement... Do you just jump into that? Or
yeah. So I said it was suspenseful for her, like her walking up to the house.
Oh my God!
Right?
Yeah,
super suspenseful.
Yes.
wondering what is she going to find.
Yeah.
Like,
she doesn't even know what she's even looking for.
She doesn't know what she's looking for.
She thinks she's looking for her sister, I would imagine. Yeah. Or the mother to talk. So, she was going to go to ask the mother some questions because she said the mother, something had happened where the mother, it suggested the mother had met Marion.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Or she knew about her.
And the detective also knew about her.
Yes.
And that they heard her.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So you just feel like at any minute, like she can just jump out.
Yeah.
So very, very scary. Did you see the record? The name of the record that was on
what was it?
Erotica.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Weird.
So
the last scene. Go, Bri.
No. So there's a few last scenes.
Okay.
Yeah, so like the basement. So I thought that was so great when she walks into the basement and she's like, Mrs. Bates? And then she turns the chair. Oh my God. Oh. So good. And I'm going to say, even for today's standards, that's a good mummified, taxidermied person.
It really is.
It was really good.
It was very good.
Very effective. I think...
and I loved how she hit the light.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a great effect? Yeah. The lights swinging, and you just have all these weird, awful shadows. Yeah. And it was so effective in the black and white.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
And then Norman runs in, and I honestly couldn't fucking remember how that was going to end.
I couldn't remember either.
For some reason, I thought that Norman was going to be stabbed, like, by Sam, or something, or like, I didn't know if Sam was even going to show up. I'm like, what is this? How is this going to break down? But through my middle-aged lens, I actually felt bad for Norman when he was like making that pained face, and like he was all like contorted with his arms, and that was a little tough. That was hard.
That was really hard because you do feel for him. You know he has mental illness, especially now as an adult looking at this through a middle-aged lens.
Yeah,
you have a lot more sympathy for someone who has mental illness. You're not just calling him psycho.
Yeah, right.
And he didn't do. I mean, it wasn't really. You really feel like it wasn't his fault. It wasn't Norman really doing these things. It was his other personality.
Which brings me to that amazing, thoughtful, delicate psychiatrist.
Oh my God! Right.
The psychiatrist walks in after interviewing Norman, and he's spouting all kinds of psychological terms, and he has it all figured out with Norman and Norman's mom, the split personality, and all this kind of stuff. And Lila says, "Did he kill my sister?" And the psychiatrist says, "Yes, and no." I'm like, you're an asshole.
Question. She was not here alive.
And then it's like, right, and then it's like, oh, so is she alive? No. I mean, he doesn't say that, but basically that's what he's saying. And then he's like, and then it's as if that's not enough for this poor woman to grapple with, that her sister is dead, murdered by this man. He gets into it. You see, Norman was aroused by your sister. Ugh. Like, come on! Yeah, this is not appropriate. I don't need to hear anymore.
Enough.
I don't need to hear
that. And it was a very... Did you get the sense that he was, like, mansplaining, too?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Carl's like, he is the worst actor in this movie.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Oh, my God. It was so over the top.
So over the top.
And heartless.
Yeah.
It's like, where's your bedside manner?
I mean, I would have guessed more that he was, like, a cop explaining things than a psychiatrist.
Yeah, he's way too gruff.
Yeah,
way
very,
too gruff.
very gruff.
Yeah.
I did like the fact that he said, no, he's not a transvestite.
Yeah.
He was trying to be his mother.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I liked that distinction.
Yeah.
Because she does say that, right? Doesn't she? Or somebody says...
Yeah. It's like, oh, why was he wearing the dress? Oh, he was a transvestite. Actually, no.
And now we come to a star sighting. Did you see the star sighting? Brian, tell me you got it.
Oh my God, wait, at what point?
The security guard who opens the door for Norman's room?
No.
Oh.
Who was it?
I can't believe I got it and you did it.
What?
I noticed him immediately and I said, oh my God, is that really him? And I looked it up and it's really him. Ted Knight. Ted Knight is the security guard. He has no lines. He's the security guard who opens the door to Norman's room.
Oh my God.
I recognized him and I said, oh my God. And sometimes in these older actors. Sometimes they look alike. You know, I'm like, could that be Ted Knight? I've never heard that Ted Knight was in Psycho.
Do you have silver hair still? Or then?
Yeah, did he have brown hair? I think he might have had brown hair.
Oh my God, I didn't even recognize.
You got to look it up after this. We'll put a picture of it up on Patreon. But I was so surprised and I was so pleased with myself that it was actually him. I was like, oh my gosh, it really is him. Yeah. I thought for sure you would have seen. Oh, well.
Yeah.
But I really did love that last ending monologue with his in Norman's mind.
Yeah.
It was just so chilling with his mother talking, saying, you know, we won't let them know. And you won't. I'm not even going to swat this fly.
Yeah.
They'll see how kind you are. And then he looks up at the camera and he has that chilling smile on his face. Oh! Yeah. Such a good ending.
So good. And then, but it really truly ends with the car being pulled out of the swamp.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Interesting little.
Yeah, it should have ended.
I think so too.
Yeah, it should have ended the other way. So, very interesting. So, Brian, tell me.
Yeah, well, a couple things.
Oh, yes.
The budget was $800,000, and this actually opened with mixed reviews, believe it or not.
Interesting.
Because they thought it was a sort of cheap, they thought it was cheap looking. They said, oh, black and white. Because I have the list probably in my phone, which is being used, but like, it's, this was really, he'd already made a ton of his other movies, and this is after, North by Northwest, this is after, Rear Window, it's
Rear Window.
The Birds is 1963, I believe, but it's after a majority of his critical successes, and people thought, oh, he's just making a horror movie, it feels a bit cheap, but only really after, that audiences kept going back, because this was made for $800,000. It made about $50 million.
Wow.
And what ended up happening is, when it became a huge success, the critics reviewed it. That never happens.
Oh, wow.
Never happens.
Oh, wow.
So, because the audience were going back again and again to see this movie. And this was up for Oscars, Best Director, Best Supporting Actress, but Best Art Direction and Best Cinematography, nothing for Anthony Perkins.
Oh my gosh!
And I want to tell you something.
I'm so surprised about that.
Carl and I were mesmerized by Anthony Perkins in the movie. Carl did some Googling about him. Do you know anything about Anthony Perkins in his later years? Very sad. So Anthony Perkins was gay. Allegedly, he had an affair with Tab Hunter. But then he went to conversion therapy.
Oh, no.
And I believe it was much later in life. I think it was even in the 90s. I believe. If I'm wrong with that, write to Carl.
Yeah.
But he ended up marrying a woman.
Oh my gosh.
And the woman ended up dying on September 11th. She was on one of the planes.
Oh my God.
It's so crazy. But I believe he died. Oh my God. I shouldn't be talking if I'm not sure about this. But I believe, did he die of AIDS? I don't know.
Do you want me to look it up?
Would you mind looking it up? Just looking up Anthony Perkins' cause of death.
Okay. Thank you. I know how to Google. Thank you.
Oh my God, I was being helpful.
Talking about me explaining. How do I use this? Is there a button I push?
I'm only saying it because you're a woman.
Brian. Now, what would be funny is if I really couldn't do it.
Oh my God.
All right. Anthony Perkins. What, cause of death?
Cause of death, yeah. I really don't want to be wrong about that because
it was AIDS.
Right. AIDS, yeah.
September 13th, 1992.
Yeah. So I don't know when his conversion therapy happened, but I don't know if he got sick and then converted and then.
That's so sad.
It's very sad. He just couldn't live his life.
That's a really, really, really sad story.
Oof.
I have a question for you though. Alfred Hitchcock allegedly is in all of the movies he's made. This, right? Did you see him in this?
He was the guy with the hat in the street.
Oh, okay.
Outside of Marion's office.
Okay. I was looking for him a little bit, but I kind of remembered after the fact. So.
So I think you were going to ask me more or less about the same, right?
Yes, more or less about the same.
Very easy more.
Easy more for me too.
Yeah. Even though I know that even though you know the twist, you know all the big scenes, I just thought it was so well done and not gratuitous, sufficiently scary, crazy, and I really, really liked it.
Well, and I appreciated, again, that it wasn't super, well, it was suspenseful in all the right places, but then I liked the surprise aspect of you expecting it to be suspenseful, but then it just cuts to the chase and it's like, nope, that's it.
Yeah.
And I really, really enjoyed the performances a lot. I thought it was great, and I liked all these little details and little twists that you can't really predict.
I think when you're young, like, I think it's like you just can't wait for the scary parts to happen. But now that you're older, it's like you have more time to breathe, you have more time to appreciate the performances. I think Anthony Perkins is excellent in this, and just obviously Janet Leigh is just phenomenal in this. Even when she has to do some sort of boneheaded things, her character has to do some things. I have a match game.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
So they're remaking Psycho again.
Oh.
But they really want to stay away from any insensitivity about mental illness. So they're giving it a new title. Blank.
Okay. All right, I think I know. Ding.
Ding. All right, remaking Psycho, but they want to be sensitive to mental health, mental illness, so they're calling it blank.
Depression.
Oh.
I don't know.
Mine's bad. Mine's stupid. I did mommy issues.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Sorry.
Okay, I have one as well. When did I write it down? Okay.
Depression. 2 for depression, please.
There's probably a movie out there.
Well, there's what is it called? Affliction.
Oh, right, yeah. That makes sense. Okay, here's my question.
Yeah.
So, all of his life, Norman was quite the mama's boy.
Oh.
Yeah, he was a really, a big mama's boy. In fact, on Mother's Day, instead of just getting her flowers, he also would give her blank.
Ding.
Okay.
Are you ready?
All right. Instead of just flowers, he would also give her...
I'm sure I misspelled it. Lingerie.
Oh my god, I think I misspelled mine too. Lingerie!
Yay! That's a good one.
So
I like that.
All right, so there's Psycho for you.
Psycho.
And that's it for this episode of Old Roommates. Thank you for listening. For bonus content, please visit us at patreon.com/oldroommates.
And follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, @oldroommates. Thanks for listening. See you next time.